Hello, my friends. We've survived another week. Yay! Oh, and I'm also just about to sneeze, so I'm going to mute myself for a moment. Maybe.
Bless you.
Thank you. Okay, can you hear me okay now? All right. Um, One of the things that occurred to me is to review over the next few weeks. I'm going to want to review some of the basics of loop of awareness because everything is so I'm finding that the practices that we've been doing for several years are great to review and kind of bring into our practice again. And the one that was occurring to me this morning is fanning and focusing. Because what happens in fear for all of us, and I don't think we realize it, is we get very narrowed. Our point of view gets very, and it ties in with adrenaline and survival, and hypervigilance, and also forward, so that we don't become aware of what's around us or in back of us, or what's possible out there in wonder. And so I wanted to play with that in a couple of different ways. So our ability to fan allows us access to what we call situational awareness. And so it's what's going on around me. And, we call that contextual awareness also. Rather than predicting what's there or narrowing your vision and expecting what you might be experiencing, rather than being open to, I see this, but what's going on around it? Because a lot of how I misinterpret or miscommunicate or don't have my timing be accurate is because I'm not doing that fluctuation of here's what's here and here's what's around it, here's what's behind it and under it. So what I'd invite you to do is to let your attention first go out in a focus. So like mine's going out to the tree that's out about 100 yards away. And then let yourself let your attention fan out. Like literally see how wide your attention can go. So I've been practicing this a while. My attention, I can be looking out and also see my hands. So that for me is one way of fanning. So you could practice that, is looking out and then letting your hands come out to the side. So you're looking out but also seeing them, and then focusing again, and then letting your eyes go out and notice what it is that allows your eyes to soften in order to have a wider perspective, a more comprehensive expansion. What I realize really assists that is my breath. Because one of the things that goes often with focus is holding your breath. And if you focus and let yourself breathe and let that breath kind of fan out your focus, so that you're aware of the whole range of what's going on, in your field. And then bring your focus back to some place inside, like a body part, body sensation. Let yourself land on it. Like for me, I'm going to my sacrum, because that's often an area that kind of complains to me in the morning. It's not doing that this morning, and how I know that is because I'm giving attention to it. So let your attention land on a place, and then I'm thinking of like fluffing a pillow. Let your attention be like fluffing a pillow, so that you're aware of the sensations around that place. Maybe in front of it, or above it, or under it, or maybe in a whole other place in your body. So let the fanning can be this way, the fanning can be behind you, it could be wider, it could be deeper, but letting yourself focus and then fan out inside you. And I can see some of you are holding your breath as you do that. So add the breath, and we also can get kind of serious about it. And so you can let a little bit of a wiggle or a little bit of an ooze happen while you're giving attention. And you can also give attention to you while keeping your eyes open. So that's very important when you're moving around in the world too. And also, like if you're in a meeting and you're in conversation with someone else and you might be having a very important discussion, if you're not giving attention to you, you're draining your reservoir, your creativity, your ability to really bring resourcefulness to your conversation. So fanning out also invites more of the color, the beauty, the liveliness that's around what you're focusing on. And then come back, like I'm coming back to my sacrum now, and I'm noticing that if I were to describe it, it's like there's little tendrils that are moving in through my sacrum. So your attention actually does awaken energy. And it awakens different kinds of energy. So let yourself focus out now on a different place. I'm looking at a painting that we have on the back wall of our house. That's a painting of a woman's face that her eyes are sunflowers. So it's this incredible. So I'm going, whoa, look at that. And then I'm fanning out so that I'm noticing, oh, I have colorful things everywhere my eye lands in my backyard. Ooh, celebrating that and then focusing again. And when I focused, I got a little of like the hit of that beauty, and I received it directly. And then let your attention come back and choose a different place inside and let yourself focus on it. So I'm focusing on the balls of my feet. And that's been an area that I've really been giving attention to over the last couple of years as I've been recovering from long COVID, which has meant, for about a year, you may not know this, but for about a year I couldn't really walk. And I'm just really kind of learning how to walk again. So as I'm putting my focused attention on the balls of my feet, I'm getting a little sort of happy chirp from the balls of my feet, like, whoa! And then I'm letting my attention fan out through my feet and then under my feet. So any way that you can focus, like I'm here, and then fanning out to kind of hold your awareness with more space. That's really what we're up to with fanning and focusing. So I'd like you to consider some place in your life where you could use that this week. Like something you might have a meeting planned, or you're working on a project, or I'm looking at you, Sherry, and I'm imagining you have some kind of art project in process, and how you might use that, and how you're moving around in the world, and then can use what you're seeing in so choose something and then write it down, because otherwise, if I don't write it down, I'm in danger of forgetting it. So that you have a place for sure that you can practice. And like I'm going to a meeting right after this, and that's one place where I'm planning on using it, not just in the meeting, but going in my car to the meeting, can fan and focus. When you're driving, that's one of the key places that you can use fanning and focusing. And I've avoided at least 5 or 6 accidents with the skill of fanning and focusing, because I can see and take in and take action with what's on the periphery. So I invite you to have this be your main practice. The other thing I experience with fanning and focusing is a kind of sort of maypole, masthead, tuning fork, coherence. I can feel my agency, so that I can be direct, and I can also be using my energy in a softer kind of focus. And it's really important that we have both of those, so that I can say no, and I can also say, oh, that's so interesting, and what else is going on here? And we need both of them for sure right now. So that's what that's what came to me today. I always love it because I was kind of asking my inner self today, like, what are we going to do? Come on, it's almost time. What are we going to do? Because I don't plan ahead. I let my tuning into what's going on inform me about what to share with you. So I was very pleased with that. So how about if we bring the card up, and I'm going to see how the card that we've chosen for today fits. So this is a great one to practice your fanning, your focusing and fanning. So let yourself focus on some part of the card, and then let your attention, while you're looking at that, fan out to what's around it. And then let your attention come back to you, and let it land on where you're most noticing this card affecting you, and then let yourself kind of fan out around that, and then circulate back and forth, fanning and focusing while I read to you. Oh, this is such an important one. I am willing to have my communication fully received by others. I am willing to have my communication fully received by others. And then, how can I speak about my feelings and inner experience congruently so that others understand? Now, it doesn't say so that others agree with me, but so that others understand, so that they receive the communication. And that's in contrast with, well, I already told you that. I told you that before. I mean, didn't you hear me? Or because I've said it, I think you got it. But one of the aspects of loop of awareness that I have found incredibly helpful is that it lets me know whether my communication has landed. When I follow my communication with checking in, like really letting my fanning and focusing go to the person I'm communicating with, I'll get a niggle or a jangle if it hasn't landed, and I'll go, so I'm just noticing I feel a little jangly, and I just wondered if that was clear, what I just said, or I might say it again in a different way. But I also just might open up the ability to choose words and the way of communicating that allow the other person to receive. So that would be speaking with wonder or speaking with appreciation, rather than speaking from entitlement or quickly, or in a way that I think the other person's supposed to get it. So how can I speak about my feelings and inner experience congruently so that others understand? So I also love the pool, the hands with the pool, because that reminds me of when I am letting my attention expand. When I'm fanning out, I find that I'm holding energy in a way that's nourishing and that I can use. So I am really liking all of the aspects of this particular card. I'm also finding for me that as I'm fanning and focusing a few times, I'm receiving more from the card, and I'm actually receiving the nourishment of the communication of the card. So our communication doesn't always have to come in words. It can come in the way we're using our bodies and our tonality, and the way on our breath and gestures. So the other thing I wanted to share with you about the card, we can come on back to about the content, we can come on back to the group, is that we also share about congruence is very similar to what we call matching. And matching is on the Restoring Resourcefulness modules on our Foundation for Conscious Living website. And matching, for me, matching is one of the most magical things that I've invented, because when I match, that is, when I'm letting myself express in a way that closely matches what I'm experiencing, all kinds of magic occurs. One is solutions open up, breath opens up, next steps, choices open up, and connection. I've also had people disappear headaches. So if they're matching, like letting themselves express the what's going on with the headache goes away, and what comes is, oh, I need to make that communication with my aunt, or oh, I didn't appreciate the person who gave me that service yesterday. And it allows us to then come into connection with what's going on rather than disconnection. So the skill of matching, incredibly magical. So let me share with you now the cards for today from Presence Connect Play. And one of the things I wanted to emphasize with Presence Connect Play is it's the combining of them that really creates something new for you. And you can combine them in different ways. And when one drops out, you can go, oh, that dropped out, and add it back in again. That it's the combination of those that kind of, it creates a new way of being and a new way of acting in the world, rather than, it's what we would call a pattern interrupt. And one of the things I found is that if I don't shake things up, the universe will. And sometimes not in the way that, wait a minute, that's not quite convenient for me. Well, you didn't put your order in, so we're just giving you what's available. So as you're practicing Presence Connect Play, you're going to get what our friend Audrey calls response agility. And that is actually the ability to respond skillfully to what's going on, rather than, like, one of my favorite unskillful responses is, I can't believe this is happening. This can't be happening. So, and that might be exactly the way I feel, but it doesn't give me many possibilities of responding. So response agility can come just simply from the practice of Presence Connect Play. Oh, and presence today is a really valuable one, which is let your whole self turn towards what's happening. I find that challenging these days and very useful, especially if I'm turning toward and I'm adding in focus and fanning, and I'm adding in breath, then I'm really opening up the possibility of actually relating to what's real, what's going on, rather than what I wish were going on or what I think ought to be going on, because as much as I'm going, what the F is going on right now, if I'm not giving my attention to it, I am not able to respond to it. So turning toward, now that also includes what's going on in you. So this is a time to, when your body signals you, it's like a little tug. I think of a little kid in the grocery store who's tugging, mom, mom, dad, and we're going, not now, I'm busy, I'm here. And then you all know what happens to the tug and what happens if you've been in the grocery store where it gets going, Mom! So let your body signal you, pay attention, give attention to those little signals from your body. And I found if I give attention, I turn fully toward and I'm giving my attention, more often than not now, whatever is going on begins to loosen up. I begin to get circulation through it. I get a specific message like that you haven't stretched that part, or you need to, there's a little hitch there. And I often, I'll go in and I'll just rub and kind of rub and stretch on a little point, and then it moves on through and it's no longer an issue. So the ability for you to create everyday magic, I think, can really amplify by using Presence Connect Play. Then Connect, this is also a challenging one right now, and a very important one, is choose to see others as allies on the same team. Like humans are on the same team. We are humans. I like to think of our animal companions and our plant companions as on the same team as my allies. And if I'm not choosing to see others as allies, that's a short path to contempt. That's a short path to seeing others as less than or greater than. So I have no power here because they're in charge. But when I'm willing to see others as allies and on the same team, then I can come up with choices that allow us to bridge differences, to appreciate differences. Also for me to make requests and to tell the truth, like, that doesn't work for me. No, I don't, I don't appreciate it when you interrupt somebody when they haven't finished speaking. I feel a jangle when you do that. And I would like to request that you let Rebecca finish her sentence and then respond. So it allows your speaking also to have that focus that allows you to get through. And you can have people as allies without, being mushy and nice. So seeing others as allies doesn't mean you have to be nice. It means that we're all on the same team. So, like, come on, carry your own weight here. Or like, this is my lane, I'm handling it. And I want to team with you, and this is my request. So that can be, but I like to first consider, okay, here we all are together. And we got to learn how to get along, at least at the level of being able to have agreements that work. So, play. This is one we added more lately, not at the very beginning of the deck. Go in the direction of the flow. So our default brain, I think our default brain directive is stop it, calm down, get rid of that. So most of what our brain does is keep things out. So for you to actually choose to go in the direction of the flow, like if there's like a going on, instead of, well, just move on, just don't pay any attention to that, just go on and doing what you're doing. But like if I feel tight, or the other day last week I was really, really angry, and I haven't been that angry in a very long time. And instead of going, okay, now if I do this, and I practice my breathing and I stretch, I let myself go ahead and go in the direction of the flow, and I was roaring, and I startled my cat. So that lets you know that I was really, and when I went in the direction of just letting myself express it, I started to get more breath, and then I could feel all of the other feelings that were under that, and I could feel what I am wanting to do. I got myself some loving attention so that I could, and I cried and I expressed with people. But what came out of that is I'm now doing Instagram posts. Particularly, I'm focusing on contempt, and I'm doing a whole series on how we counter contempt. But I got that by going with the flow rather than by, well, if we all just calm down. So rather than stop it, go with. It seems very counterintuitive. So if I'm with somebody, if you're with somebody and they're starting to feel sad, don't fix them. Be with them so that you're doing a fanning out so that they can expand into and experience their sadness and the connection that your attention gives them to be able to really love that. Because your attention is love in action. That's what we call what we're doing on Mondays. It's love in action. So I meditate every day, twice a day, and have for I think 43 years now. And then I take that into action. So there's one thing to be able to get all centered when you're meditating, but there's this whole thing in, particularly in Buddhism, it's called back to the marketplace, So, it doesn't work if you go to the mountain and you get all enlightened and then you come to the marketplace and start throwing vegetables at other people. So, this is our time to be, we're in the marketplace. And, and the marketplace right now is, love. Are we going to have love and connection, or are we going to have contempt and fear? So I'm advocating for what. So, so thank you so much. I was loving all of that. I could tell that you were taking this in, because I could see that you were, there are things going on and you're opening up, and there's much more liveliness and much more circulation in the group. So yay us that we're generating that together. And the nourishment for filling our reservoirs for going into the week. So thank you for this, because I always, I go, oh, it's Monday morning. And sometimes I've been tempted to go, well, maybe we should do this more than once a week. And my inner voice goes, no, that's, that's just, because it's a real treat for me. So thank you so much. And take all these suggestions and practice, and let us know what you do. All right, I'm heading off just at the time when I'm getting phlegmy. So Miss Phlegmy is going on into the world. Mwah! Take care. Love you.